to another episode of Rajun Reviews. I got a lot of feedback from the first one, and by a lot of feedback I mean 2 people, 1 subscriber, so I'm getting somewhere. So I saw The Lorax, Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. It was directed by the guys who did Despicable Me. Lorax is a Dr. Seuss novel that, well, not really a novel, it was like 30 pages, 20 at most. Anyway, Lorax is about a little orange peanut looking guy. Yeah. And he's all about saving the trees. That's it. That was the entire Dr. Seuss book. And now they want to make it into a movie. The first time I heard it, I was like, alright. I mean, I didn't like The Grinch. I didn't like The Cat in the Hat. Important Here's Who was alright. Alright. So I saw it. Not bad. Voice acting was, let's see, Danny DeVito was the Lorax. You know, a little orange peanut guy I was talking about before. He had a mustache. It was awesome. He was really awesome as the Lorax. Like, he looks like he would sound just like Danny DeVito. I believe that Danny DeVito is the Lorax in real life. He was barely in the movie, though. I mean, I think it's kind of weird that they call the movie The Lorax, but he was only in it for about a half hour. Next up is Ed Helms. Ed Helms plays Andy on The Office, and I think he's a really talented actor, and he did a really awesome job in this movie. Because not only did he do the character in his own voice, but he actually had to change his voice for another character. But that character turns out to be the same character, if that makes any sense. Zac Efron, you know, the guy from, like, the Disney thing. He was in the movie. He plays the main character. His name is Ted. He's trying to get with this redheaded chick who wants a treat. Taylor Swift is a singer who plays the voice of the chick that he's trying to get with. I don't know her name right now, and I'm not going to look it up. Okay, story goes like this. Ted is trying to get with redheaded girl, who is significantly older than Ted, which I find a little bit strange. He's trying to get with her. She wants a tree. There are no trees in the town they live in, so he has to go out of town, which is a big deal, to go find a tree. Trees don't exist anymore, apparently. And he has to go to Ed Helms' character, and Ed Helms' character is going to tell him what happened to the trees. So the whole movie is basically a story within a story telling the story about trees and where they went. Here's what worked for me. I thought the voice acting was really awesome. Zac Efron, I think he's talented. I think he could go places. There's Taylor Swift. She was barely in the movie, but like, you know, whatever. She's Taylor Swift. She's hot. Danny DeVito, he is the Lorax. I believe it. He's a rocking mustache, by the way. I want one. So. Ed Helms, terrific voice actor, but here's what didn't work for me. While the voice acting was spot on for most of the characters, I wasn't a fan of the villain. I thought he was a pretty stupid villain. His whole shtick was he sells air. That's it. Because in a world without trees, air can't exist. So I don't know where he's getting the air from, so he sells it. And that doesn't make sense. But it's a kid's movie, so I'm gonna let that slide. Another thing that didn't work for me was the musical numbers. The excessive amount of musical numbers. Alright, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with Aladdin. I grew up with Hercules and The Lion King. The best animated movie ever made. And there were songs in there. Whatever, I'm cool with songs, as long as they have something to do with the actual plot. In this movie, maybe the very first song and the very last song had everything to do with the plot. But in the middle, it was like there was a new song every 10 minutes, and it didn't progress the plots at all. There really isn't much to say more about this movie. I mean, the plot was very simple. I mean, you got the dude who wants the chick, and he gets the chick at the end. There's no spoiler for that. We all know it's gonna happen. It's a kid's movie. I mean, it's not like the dad is gonna die or anything. Wait. Lion King. Maybe the mom died. The message in this movie was really out there. They were not shy about the message. Basically, in a nutshell, I just wanted to go home after I watched this movie. I wanted to go home, go in my backyard, and plant a tree. And down with big corporations. And that's what this movie's really about. Oh, communists. So, we got good voice acting. We got an okay out there plot. And excessive musical numbers that really don't make sense with the actual story. If I had to rate this film, Dr. Seuss's The Lorax, I would rate it 6.5 out of 10. I don't like going halfsies with things. In this case, I'll make an exception. 6.5 out of 10.